Good. Are your assistant teachers really competent? Are we safe when we join their courses? There are more than 700 assistant teachers now working around the world. And thousands upon thousands of people are taking advantage in every course throughout the world. And they are getting benefit. So don't have any doubt. They are given proper training as a teacher. First they have to establish themselves in the technique properly. They have to understand the theoretical aspect of the technique also properly. And then they have to generate love and compassion. They must have a lot of love and compassion for others. And then they must be very selfless service they have to give. And then only a training of teacher is given to them. Be assured, you are in good hands. They will take care of you. If we distract ourselves with meditation, aren't we taking away from the energy we should be devoting to rectifying the rampant social ills on our planet? It is for this purpose only. A Vipassana meditator does not become selfish, that I am working only for my liberation, for my happiness. As you progress on the path and the mind becomes purer and purer, naturally the volition starts. More and more people get this wonderful technique. More and more people come out of their defilements. This love and compassion, this is a part of the technique, of the teaching of this technique. And don't worry that you will run away from your responsibilities. You will perform your responsibilities much better than what you were performing without Vipassana. Compared to most other teachers, your courses put too much emphasis on discipline and morality. A Shila broken then shouldn't be such a problem. If one Shila is broken out of, then there should not be much problem. It is too fundamentalist attitude. Understand these 5 precepts. That means you have to abstain from taking any unwholesome action, vocal or physical, which will disturb others. They are part of this technique. They are foundation of this technique. Foundation goes weak, you can't build a house over there. So, foundation is necessary because at least for those 10 days, if you keep on breaking your Shila, even one Shila you have broken, you will find there is a big storm in your mind, which you do not know now. As you practice, you go to the depth and you find what disturbance it creates. Every time you break a Shila, you have to generate a defilement. And every time you generate defilement, there is so much of disturbance in the mind. How can you go to the depth of the mind? It becomes difficult. Therefore, for those 10 days, you have to observe Shila, you have to be in discipline. After 10 days, you are your own master. Nobody forces you, nobody comes to examine you whether you are observing Shila or not. But you will yourself start understanding that every time I break Shila in my life, I am harming myself. I am harming myself before I harm others, and slowly you start coming out of this old habit of breaking Shila. How can I help my 96-year-old grandmother who has never practiced Vipassana? How can she die smilingly? This will be your greatest service to your grandmother. She has not practiced Vipassana. And if you have practiced, persuade her very lovingly. Bring her to the course. 96 years is not a very old age. Still she can work. We have got students who are over 90 and they have come and they have practiced and there are people to help them. So there will be people to help them, help her, let her come and practice, and she will find how to live peacefully and how to die peacefully. Vipassana meditation is an art of dying, how to die peacefully. Even cases of cancer, so much of pain, and terminal stage of cancer, so much of pain, and yet a cancer patient keeps on observing sensation, observing respiration, and passes away. Now we have got 1 or 2 cases at the center at Shelburne Falls. I was so happy to see somebody whom the doctors have said your maximum life now is not more than a fortnight. Maximum, you may pass away tomorrow, day after tomorrow. Such terminal stage, and he laughs, and he smiles. He says, let me make use of these days. And he gives service there. He gives service. All the applications that come, he goes through that, gives appointment. What a person! He's suffering, this terminal stage and he knows he's going to die. And he smiles, he laughs. This is a good example how Vipassana helps us to learn an art of dying. An art of dying is possible when you learn art of living. So art of living will help you to die also artfully. I know the Buddha's teaching doesn't give importance to miracles, but aren't they useful to attract others? If you attract others by miracles, then they will look for miracles only. They won't practice. The biggest attraction is when they find how a very miserable person has changed so much. How a person who is such a terrible life, inhuman life living, how he has changed with compassion. That is the biggest attraction. That is the biggest miracle. Of course, miracles do come. As you practice, you go deeper, miracles come. But don't show these miracles to anybody, otherwise Dhamma will get polluted. Keep the Dhamma pure. It is not for showing miracle, it is for showing the result of Dhamma, how people get liberated from their misery. That is more important. As a Westerner, living in today's modern world, is it more beneficial to practice Vipassana as a householder or go to a monastery to live as a monk? Well, if you live the householder's life and become a monk, you will all the time just to practice. We give respect to such person who has left the householder's life and practicing full-time Vipassana, nothing like that. But all householders cannot become monks. So Buddha's teaching is for all, monks as well as householders. So remaining a householder, you can still practice, although your progress will be little slow compared to that of a monk, but still you will get the same result. Since I have started meditating, many people have noticed changes in me. Good. Old friends invite us to join them, and there are always intoxicants there. Their ignorance is clear. Is it aversion if my wife wants to go and I don't want to go? Ask your wife also to take a course. If she takes a course, you understand this intoxication is so harmful. You can never go to the depth of the mind when your mind is intoxicated. So much confused, so much unsettled, so much blind. You can't go to that depth. And once one takes that course, one understands it is so harmful. So biggest help you can give to your wife is persuade her lovingly, don't force her, persuade her to take a 10-day course. Isn't it arrogant to claim that this tradition of Vipassana is the purest teaching of Buddha? No arrogance, because I came to Buddha's teaching with all the doubts in my mind, all the doubts. First, the practical aspect of it, which gave result, which is so logical, pragmatic, scientific, result-oriented. I was not fully satisfied. I wanted to go through the words of Buddha. And after going through all that, I find every action that we take in Vipassana is exactly according to the words of Buddha. If people had not maintained the purity of this technique and also had not maintained the purity of the words of Buddha, there would have been confusion in the world. Fortunately, Sangha has maintained the purity of the technique, purity of the teaching in words, so that we can tally and see how the words tally with the practice and how the practice tallies, 100% tallies with the words of the Buddha. That is why we say it is the purest way of Buddha's teaching.